All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Friday Night Prepper pre-party show. Apparently, as I was prepping this video, this live stream, I had put the wrong time. So apologies to anybody if you got the wrong alerts or multiple alerts. I was rushing around at the last second trying to get some details on the story about teleportation and Waffle House, which, yes, we are definitely going to get to that one today. Speaking of strange and supernatural things, we have only 1 week away to find out if Chris Bledsoe's prophecy of the lady comes true. That should happen, I guess, sometime this week or maybe even on Easter Sunday itself. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out last week's live stream in my live stream section. Chris Bledsoe is a person who claims to have had some otherworldly encounters and gave us prophecy that pertains to a visitation from a non-human entity that he identifies as the lady, who spoke about something very significant happening on Easter of 2026 or around Easter of 2026. She doesn't specifically say it like that. I go into all the details in last week's stream. Go check it out. We're going to talk about the giveaway coming up tonight. We're going to talk about this teleportation Waffle House story, which is wild. And I'm going to give you scientific answers, and we'll get a little bit wild with the quantum and alien abductions and stuff too, because, hey, I don't know, anything's possible. And then the big story that I got for you for tonight is I want to talk about the Terminator is actually a real thing now. We're going to talk about these robots that are being deployed in Ukraine. This is the first time that I know of that a walking drone, you heard me right, a walking humanoid drone, a la the Terminator, is being deployed in war. I'm not kidding you. This is happening. We're going to get to it all today. Folks, I hope you're having a great Friday night. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to say hi to chat here in just a minute. I know I've got several moderators in here, and thank you so much for always appreciate the help here. You guys are great. Everybody else, you guys know the rules. No racism, no sexism. Be kind to the moderators. If you have a point that you disagree with, it's okay. You can disagree. Just articulate your point. If you're new to the channel and you're having fun here tonight with us, subscribe, like, smash the button, whatever. I usually have some discount codes scrolling down in the description. Go ahead and check that out. But in this one, I've got the rules for the upcoming giveaway in the description instead. However, just to give a little promotion to a company that I'm currently working with, Prepper-Co. You can see them scrolling down there, and that is their QR code. If you're looking for some prepper gear, gas masks, water filters, long-term food storage, Faraday kits, you name it, Prepper-Co is a great company. I highly recommend you check them out. All right, let's go ahead and say hi to chat, and then let's get into these stories because, boy, do we have a lot of ground to cover. Let's see. I think I saw Virginia Bushcrafter first. Shovel Bum, thank you so much. Sassy Gal Prepping, how are you doing tonight? It's good to see you all. Yes, Wayne, that was a typo. I was just moving too fast, getting sloppy. Let's see, did I miss anybody? Lazarus Long, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Sounds coming through good. Awesome. Southern Cheer Prepper for the ages. Appreciate you both. How are you doing tonight? GD Prepper, teleport to Waffle House. Yes. Yes. This is the thing. OG, it's good to see you. How are you doing? Scott, it's good to see you. Prepping, massage, and chat. Prepping with massage. I got you. You're probably doing the voice to text. I got you. I'm out finishing up DoorDash. No worries. We got to make the money, man. We got to pay the bills. I got you. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody, and anybody who comes in late. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get into the story about the teleportation thing. I came home to this one, was on the news, and had to do a double take. Looked at Mrs. Sarge, and she said, "Yeah, no, you really are seeing this correct. This is real. This is happening." Because we didn't have this on the 2026 bingo card, folks. We did not have government officials teleporting to Waffle House on the 2026 bingo card. This is outside. We're painting outside the lines now, folks. Okay. Let's get into this story. I don't even know what to say, but we're gonna do our best. So, Greg Phillips, Greg Phillips, who is your head of FEMA, as picked by Donald Trump. He is the head of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Office of Response and Recovery. He claimed in a 2025 podcast, so this is over a year ago, the podcast Onward, he claimed that teleporting is no fun and that this has happened to him at least once, where he was with his boys. He was telling the boys that he wanted to go to Waffle House and get some Waffle House, and he ended up at Waffle House. This was in Georgia, 50 miles away from where he was. So then his apparently was in a phone call, I guess, with his boys, and they said, "Where are you?" And he said, "I'm at a Waffle House." And they said, "Waffle House where?" And he said, "Waffle House in Rome, Georgia." Now, folks, before I go any further, I'm going to tell you, I've driven through this part of the country. It just may be a hub of supernatural activity. Okay, so you're gonna have to drive there for yourself and check it out. There are certain parts of the country where things just feel really weird. Zanesville, Ohio is another one. Drive through Zanesville, Ohio. Tell me I'm wrong. All right. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. That's another one. Drive through it. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyways, so he's at Waffle House in Rome, Georgia. And they said, "That's not possible. You just left your house a moment ago. How could you possibly be 50 miles away?" But there he was. Okay. He said the experience was very frightening. It's no fun because you don't know what's going on. You don't understand it. It's scary, but real. You can't do anything about it. You just go along for the ride. Okay. And then he said another incident while he was driving in which he was lifted up and teleported 40 miles away from Albany, Georgia, before being set down in a ditch near a church. He said he's been teleported more than once, and he questions whether this is a good or evil experience. This is the head of FEMA, folks, or the head of, I want to make sure I get his title right. Federal Emergency Agency. Okay, so he's the head of Federal Emergency Management Agency's Office of Response and Recovery. Okay, now we're having our fun, making fun of this a little bit, but let's see if we can explain this a little bit, okay? All right, let me go first with the scientific. So there is an explanation for this, believe it or not. Sorry, I want to mark where I left off in chat so I can come back to it. So there's a thing in psychology that we in the field know about called fugue state. It's called fugue state, okay? And it's a type of dissociation. Okay, what do I mean by that? So dissociation is a wide spectrum of symptoms, anything ranging from when you're talking to somebody and they just kind of zone out like that for a second. They kind of glitch out for a second. In my experience, I think a lot of people do that one. They just kind of zone out for a second and they're not aware that they do it. That's a very minor dissociation. A very extreme type of dissociation would be what you in the community might know as multiple personality disorder. We don't call it that anymore. We call it dissociative identity disorder. Okay. And then something in between would be a flashback. I've had flashbacks. I can explain what mine were like. It doesn't mean that somebody else's flashbacks were the same. Some people that I've worked with, some of my patients have ones that sound much, much more intense than mine, and some have ones that sound less intense than what I've experienced. But a flashback is basically when you are reliving a moment of a trauma. It can be really, really intrusive, or it can be just kind of like you're thinking about it really intensely and you didn't mean to do that. Okay, but it's kind of intrusive. You don't really have 100% control of the situation, but I teach people in therapy how to get themselves out of that. All right. So those are all different types of dissociations. Fugue state is another type of dissociation. And what happens with fugue state is a person can get into their car and just start driving and not remember driving and end up somewhere else. This is a real thing. It happens sometimes when a person has a trauma history, but it can also happen if they're extremely nervous and avoidant of a situation. So there's a couple different ways that could happen. That's probably, in my opinion, that's the most likely scenario here for what he's reporting. There's other possibilities. We've talked about unusual phenomena here on this channel before. right? Like quantum states and superposition and things like that, right? I personally am someone who believes that there's a in my mind, from what I understand of quantum physics, I do believe there's a high possibility that we live in a multiverse. Okay. Um, I'm pretty open about this. When people ask me about it, I'm not embarrassed to talk about it because a lot of physicists will talk about it. But before they made it mainstream, I probably wouldn't have told people my thoughts on this because they would have said, there's something wrong with you. But a lot of physicists believe this, and it comes out of many worlds theory, which is part of the explanation of superstring theory. Is it proven? No, of course not. It's just a theory, right? And so if that theory is true, this sometimes can explain things that people experience, like loss of time. And by the way, that's not a super uncommon thing for people to like lose hours and not be able to account for them. It could deja vu, having dreams and then the dreams come true, right? Like some of you have probably experienced some of these things. None of that is proof that Mandela effect. None of this is proof that multiverse exists. It's just if multiverse exists, it could be tied into these things, right? So there's some quantum, highly unlikely, but there's some quantum explanations here that I can't say definitively that they didn't happen to this guy. And we've also talked about on this channel the possibility of extraterrestrial or interterrestrial beings, right? Like, again, I've given you my thoughts on this. I'm a doubter, a skeptic, but I'm somebody who wants to believe. I just want more proof. And there are many, many stories of people who have claimed that they were abducted, they lose track of time, and they're deposited somewhere else. In fact, when I was living in Kentucky, there's a very famous story of 3 church ladies that had this happen to them, and then under regression hypnosis, basically they felt like I believe it's Stanford, Kentucky, if you want to look up the story. They felt like, or they had recalled memories of being experimented on and things like that by these non-human things. But what they described was this loss of several hours while they were driving that they couldn't account for. Okay. So we have scientific explanations for this. We have paranormal explanations for this. But man, is this guy getting roasted by the media because people in government positions don't usually talk about this stuff. So now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments, which way do you think this goes? How are you feeling about this? I don't think this guy's like just talking about this stuff for attention. I didn't get that impression when I watched the clips of it. I believe that just like with Chris Bledsoe and his encounters that he describes, whether or not it happened, he believes it happened, right? The body language to me says that this Greg Phillips guy believes that that this happened. I don't think he's lying or exaggerating the truth for attention. I believe he believes it's real. Does that mean it's real? Not necessarily. That those are two different things, right? Like the truth is kind of subjective to your experiences. My oldest sister and I will sometimes talk about things from childhood and we'll have similar memories, but her remembrance of it is different than my remembrance of it, sometimes in some pretty big details. Is she lying? No. Am I lying? No. Our subjective truth is based on what we remember, what we believed, and sometimes it's distorted over time, right? Because our memories can get a little bit fuzzy as they mingle in. It's not perfect. People think they have a perfect memory. Nobody has a perfect memory. You might have a very good memory, but they can get distorted over time as you experience more things in your life. And it is what it is. Human memory is impressive, but it's not infallible. All right. Let me check your chat before we go on to the next story. All right. Okay, let's see what y'all are saying. Demo Man Dan, how are you doing tonight? When you lose a fight in Georgia, you respond to a Waffle House. I love that. Yeah, by the way, don't be going in and picking fights with the waitresses at Waffle House. Them girls know how to throw down. Okay, and if you don't know what I mean, you can go look up Waffle House fight. Teleportation is outside the realm of where most operate. Yeah. So if you don't teleport, how would you understand that what this guy's trying to tell you, right? Looking at moving to West Virginia or Kentucky within the next 5 years. Awesome. I lived near Southern Tier Prepper. I lived near Mercer County, and I loved it. Loved the area. Um, I would also recommend, if you're looking at those areas, look at Eastern Tennessee as well. All of them, I think, have you're going to be more likely to encounter people who have a self-sufficient mindset. I can tell you that the soil in Kentucky is unbelievable, unbelievable. Like, I could throw anything in the ground and it would grow. You didn't have to be a good gardener; you just had to have a little plot of land. The water in Kentucky is really good tasting because of the limestone in the ground there. But I mean, I lived in Kentucky, so I'm a little bit biased towards Kentucky. But I'll say Eastern Tennessee is beautiful. West Virginia is beautiful. I think you're looking at a great area of the country if you're looking to locate near people who are a similar mindset. That's another possibility, right? Like that. Okay, so I didn't even think about that, but and I'm not accusing this guy of anything, but um, let's take a different example because I don't know this guy's story at all. Remember the girl on the plane a couple of years ago who was saying that person does not exist, that mofo does not exist, and she really pretty girl, but she was acting kind of off and got removed from the flight. Um, I don't know what the end result of that story was. She did do an interview later on and kind of apologized, and she said, "I can't tell you the whole story. I got the impression that there was some legal issues going on. Maybe she's went now on the. I'm just guessing. Maybe she's on the no-fly list, and she was trying to get that appealed or something. So she couldn't give all the details, but she was basically like, "Yeah, no, I'm okay." And there wasn't a lizard person on the plane or anything like that. There are many things that can cause a person to hallucinate, substances being only one. Okay, only one. There is prescription medications that can cause a person to hallucinate. There is if you go, and some of the military guys maybe will vouch for this, or first responders in the chat will vouch for this. If you go so long without sleep, you will start to see and hear things that aren't there. The dream world will start to blend in to the real world until you finally get some sleep. um, I actually had that happen to me when I was in uh, college, and I was working full time, interning full time, and going to school full time. I basically was trying to be a superhero and sleep like 2 hours a night. One day, or 1 week, I went 3 days without sleep. I thought I could do it. Bad idea. When I finally went to lay down to go to sleep, I started hearing voices, and they weren't scary. They were like my friends, but they weren't in the room with me. I knew that. Like, I still had enough like faculties to know, like, oh, there's like I pushed it too far. As soon as I went to sleep, went away. But I learned a valuable lesson there that don't try to go 3 days without sleep. And I know like some of these military guys have had to do that. Some of the first responders have had to do that. It's not good for you. It's not good for the brain. Um, let's see. Could have been like fever, right? Like food poisoning or something like that. He found himself and his car in a ditch. I don't think the car was in the ditch with him. I didn't get that impression. Hey, Howie, how are you doing tonight? It's good to see you. There is Southern Tier Prepper. I'm going to agree with you. I think there are interesting things in this world that are not easily explained. I've talked about some personal experiences on previous live streams. I talked about a group home that I worked in where it was, in my opinion, haunted, for lack of a better word. And one of the female staff that I worked with sometimes comes to chat. I don't think she's here tonight. I haven't seen her name pop up yet. And she'll verify, like, yeah, no, what he's saying, we witnessed these things together. Um, Doors shutting by themselves, things like that. Um, I have talked about that when I had an emergency surgery a few years ago, that I experienced something very, very interesting that I can't explain. That I saw what I will call a ghost, but I don't know that that's the right term for it. It was benevolent. It didn't talk to me. I saw it for a split second, and then when I tried to look directly at it, it disappeared. Um, And when I was discharging from the hospital, they had a priest, because they'll ask you your religious affiliation and whatnot. They had a priest come by and talk to me, and I told him about it, and he just kind of smiled. He didn't say like, "Yeah, I've heard this before" or anything like that. He just kind of like gave a knowing smile. Um, that was in I was in a hospital that was founded by nuns, and the what I saw looked like a nun, but not a modern day nun, like a nun how you would imagine they would have been dressed in the 1800s. That's what I saw. Um, and again, you could say, okay, well, Sarge, you were under a lot of medication. I was. I was recovering from a surgery. I was. So there's definitely other explanations for that. I sometimes question it myself. I can only tell you that it was as real at that moment. It was as real as if whoever's in your house right now was standing right next to you. It was that close and that um, solid. That's solid, for lack of a better word. But when I looked directly at it, it was like instantaneously gone. No sound, no or anything, no sound, just gone. Um, it was what it was doing. It wasn't looking at me. It was actually looking at my charts, which is kind of interesting, right? Um, if you think about like this hospital was founded by nuns, and maybe they periodically just check on what's happening going there, or maybe I was just in some kind of medication induced delirium. I don't, that's up for you to decide. I'm not here to like convince you that I saw this thing. Again, I sometimes I'm not sure myself. Did I really see that? But then I say no, I did. You know. So yes, I agree with you. There are things that happen in this world that are not easily explained with just our regular understanding of science, right? Okay, let's see. So before we all like just like humiliate this poor Greg Phillips guy, like maybe something did unusual did happen to him, right? Honest officer only had 2 drinks. Oh, places why? Yes, absolutely. That would be yes, Wayne. Um, that's an example of fugue state, and it can happen for only. It can be sometimes a few minutes. It can be hours. It can be hours. There's been cases where people have driven like across the country and then suddenly snapped out of it and didn't know how they got there. So one thing, STP, just to help a little bit here. I don't want to get too far down anybody's stuff, but one thing you can do, and I've talked about this before, is if you get flashbacks, this is consider this first aid, not surgery. If you get flashbacks, as soon as you feel like it's about to happen, you got to catch it like in the first second. As soon as you feel like it's about to happen, immediately start looking around wherever you are and try to notice several things that you see, several things that you hear, not in the flashback, but in the room that you're in, wherever you are. Several things you see, several things you hear, several things you physically feel, not emotionally. Emotionally can pull you into the flashback. Physically feel, smell, and taste. Bring your 5 senses into it and ground yourself in the moment where you are right at that time. Okay. And try not to, and I know with flashbacks, because again, I will disclose that I've experienced it. There's a part of you that's kind of curious, and like, even though it's not good, you're kind of curious, and you're like, "Oh, I'm remembering something," right? Try to pull away from that, ground yourself in the moment, and then later on, if you want to think about it and you're choosing to, that's fine because you're now in control of the projector reel. But when a flashback's happening and you weren't intending to think about it, the projector reel is running without you having control of it. We want to break away from that. Okay. I hope that helps a little bit. Um, yeah, hit the thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying the conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, passes the bourbon syrup. Deja vu only happens when they change something in the Matrix. Correct. Hey, Rob, I hope you do. I would. It wouldn't make me. I don't think I could be happier than to find out that somebody in our community hit the lottery. That would be amazing. I genuinely hope you do, and I'm gonna try to will that out there for you too. Let's manifest that for Rob tonight. The Mandela effect is really, really interesting stuff. I almost decided to do tonight's stream about um, this whole theory that I don't want to get too far off track here. We can hit this on another night. That if AI advances to a high enough point that it becomes super intelligence, and let's say that many years from now humans are extinct, and not even because AI destroyed us. Maybe we just die out from disease, something goes wrong with our DNA. There's a lot of different ways humans could go extinct. Okay, so let's say that something happens, humans go extinct, but it wasn't because of some war with AI. And then AI, it's left to its own devices. It has its own will now and its own interest. And maybe it's like, hey, those humans were kind of interesting, unpredictable. They created a lot of interesting variables. We like learning. Let's simulate humans. Some of you already see where this is going, right? So let's simulate humans. And better yet, let's create billions of simulations. And we'll program these humans to think that they're alive. We'll program these humans to think that they have free will. We'll program these humans to have all kinds of different experiences. What does that sound like? A combination between the simulation theory and the multiverse, doesn't it? So, and then eventually, like these humans, let's just kind of let that simulation play out. Eventually, they create AI, and then AI evolves in that simulation, and eventually humans are gone, and it creates a new simulation, and you have like this bubble universe within a bubble universe within a bubble universe within a bubble universe. It gets pretty weird, right? Like to think about this, and this is why Elon Musk said chances are more likely than not that we exist in a simulation, because if you think of all the different possibilities that ours is the source universe, it would be like one in trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions, right? It's kind of weird to think about that. Now, do I think we're in a simulation? Most of the time, I don't think that. But weird stuff does happen, like the Mandela effect, right? It can drive you really down that rabbit hole, and you will question your own reality. Just one example of people who don't know what that is. So when you think of the movie Star Wars or The Empire Strikes Back, when you think of the movie The Empire Strikes Back, for those of you who are Star Wars fans, and there's that scene, I'm going to do a spoiler alert here, in case you haven't seen The Empire Strikes Back. There's a scene where Darth Vader reveals to Luke Skywalker that he is his father, right? Sorry if you've never seen the movie. I just destroyed it for you. And as I remember it as a child, it was, he says, Luke, I am your father. But if you go and watch a copy of the movie right now, you can go, if you got Disney Plus, you can go load it up later on and go fast forward to that scene. And he says, no, I am your father. He doesn't say, Luke, I am your father. But I swear in my childhood memory that he said, Luke, I am your father. That's one example of the Mandela effect. Exactly, Southern Tier Prepper. I agree with you. Let's keep an open mind. That's what I try to do, even though I'm skeptical about a lot of stuff. Try to keep an open mind and realize that I do not know everything. I do not know if aliens are real or not, right? Like, and I would love to be proven wrong on that. I really want that more, probably, of like all the things that I would like to see in my lifetime. Humans landing on Mars would be really, really cool. And getting some kind of provable confirmation that highly intelligent life exists outside of Earth. Those two rank way up there for me, way up there. But would I wake up? Would you find out in the middle of a Waffle House? I don't, suddenly, guys, I'm craving Waffle House. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Prepper for the Ages, Ambien. I'm probably going to get a cease and desist letter now. Ambien has been known to do some weird stuff to people, sleepwalking and things like that. I personally have worked with patients who've had some really, really weird experiences with Ambien. Yeah, they're probably not going to be too happy with me for saying that. Yep, same here, OG. My sister and I have, we have very, very similar memories, but our recollection of them and the details is different. And it's like the guy in the movie Independence Day. Alien kind of no. Yep. Yes. Yes. Sassy Gal. Yes. Great character, by the way. That was wasn't that Randy Quaid? I think so. Yeah, East Tennessee is awesome. It's a great area of the country. Absolutely. I agree with Wayne. Cool. All right. I'm gonna scroll down a little fast here so I can get on to the next topic. I don't want to keep you guys here all night long. Yeah, some people get weird effects with different medications. Don't forget, fever can make you hallucinate too. All of the above. All of the above. Lack of sleep. Um, are there really people that have never watched Star Wars? I don't know. Yeah, actually, no, I have met a couple people. I've met a couple people that just hate sci-fi and they can't put their mind, they can't suspend their mind to go to like this fantasy thing for 2 hours. They just can't. So some people have never seen it. Some people have never seen like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. You know, they just it's not their thing. All right, cool. Let me mark where I'm leaving off here. All right, so next thing, let's talk about the giveaway. I'm going to zip through this kind of quick. I am giving away. I got to get to my rules here. And then we're going to get to the Terminator bots, and then we're going to call it a night. I am giving away a Faraday bag kit. So if you didn't see the video, I put it out Tuesday. I show you the kit. Go watch the video. It's called Testing Faraday Bags for Upcoming Giveaway. Now, to go over the rules real quick. Excuse me. Not affiliated with YouTube or Google or any other social media platform that I might promote this on. This contest is between me and the winner. It's only going to be one prize this time. Contest giveaway is not in a way affiliated with any social media platforms. Participants need to be residents of the 48 continental US states, okay? Or at least have a mailing address within the 48 continental US states where you can receive US Postal Mail. Okay, so if you don't live here, but somebody can receive it for you in the United States, cool, we're good. You're going to follow the instructions mentioned in the drawing live stream, which will be coming up at a future date. Not that far away. You must be 18 years of age. If you're not 18 years of age, have a parent play on your behalf. Okay, I don't care. I'm not going to ask to see anybody's ID. Winner will be randomly selected on an upcoming live stream. Again, that's coming very soon. There's no cash substitute. No substitute of any kind. You must, if you're the winner, you must contact me within 14 days of drawing, or you forfeit your prize. I will give you my email address the day of the drawing. Most of you guys know it anyway. Some of you email me regularly. Content creator and winner must comply with all relevant federal tax local laws. If you're responsible for paying taxes for prizes in your area, that's your responsibility. Sergeant ain't paying it for you. Got it? Okay, cool. Content creators and participants cannot infringe upon or encourage the infringement upon any third-party rights or participation in any unlawful activity. Content creator will not ask the viewer to give rights or transfer ownership of your prize to me. Content creator will ship to the winner at my cost. I pay for the delivery. The product was provided to me by Prepper-Co. Got them in the link down there. Got them in the QR. Okay. Content creator believes in good faith that I'm in compliance with federal, state, and local laws. Please see the video for entry instructions. You can read them in the description of this video too. YouTube is not a sponsor affiliated in any way. Any state, local, or federal taxes are your responsibility. You agree to absolve me from any responsibility for that, and my LLC is not responsible for that in any way. If you are the chosen winner and taxes are due, handle that. Handle your business. Privacy notice. You will be asked to notify me. If you're the winner, you'll be asked to notify me via email. And if I don't already know you, if you're new to the stream or you've not ever won a prize with me before, I'm going to ask you to do something to verify. It's very, very simple. Many people that are in the chat here have won prizes before. Basically, I'm going to ask you to go to a certain video and leave a phrase, and then I'm going to check it to make sure that I got the right person. The only purpose of that is to make sure that somebody's not trying to steal your prize, okay? I will not use your email to email you or share it with anybody else. If you want to stay in touch with me through email, that's fine. I love talking to the audience. Participants agree not to hold me or my affiliated LLC is liable for any errors, claims, or damages. Content creator, spouse of the content creator, paid employees of my LLC are not eligible to claim a prize. Okay, this does not include moderators because they are not paid. Moderators, until the day comes when I can afford to pay my moderators, they are eligible for my contests because they're not paid. Okay, unpaid volunteers may participate and are able to win prizes. Contract workers. Sometimes I hire models. Sometimes I've hired artists and photographers to help me with certain videos. If they've not worked for me in the past, if they've worked with me in the past, they are eligible as long as they're not regularly employed by me and they've not done anything in the last 30 days. I only have one person that I know of that falls in this boat that she will not be eligible for this prize. Okay. For this giveaway, you must be present on the live stream and you will need to enter a designated phrase between 7:45 when I go live and 8:30 that night. And then either that night or the next night we'll do the drawing. It'll depend on how many entries I have to enter. If it's our usual amount that we have in live stream here, I'll probably be able to do it that night. If you've been blocked, banned, or hidden from commenting on the channel, you are ineligible. Sorry, don't be a jerk. Don't be racist. Don't be a sexist. Don't be insulting to the mods. Don't be insulting to other members of the community. If you got blocked or banned, that's probably why. So sorry, too bad, so sad. Next time, don't be a jerk on the internet. All right? Cool. That's it. Got any questions? Put them in chat now. And then I'm going to go to the next story, and then we're going to wind this one down. So let me scroll here a little bit. Again, if you have questions about any of those rules, put them in chat now. So it's actually the Faraday kit is actually 3 bags. So there's like a small one that's like suitable for your phone. There's one that's probably big enough for like a tablet, and then there's one that's big enough for like a laptop. And they're good. I tested. I'm actually thinking about getting more from Prepper-Co because they have like larger ones, and there's some stuff that I want to put in Faraday that I need a larger bag for. If you guys don't know what a Faraday bag is, it protects the signal of electronic devices from being able to be read by radio towers, RFID. It protects them from EMPs, protects them in theory. Like we haven't had an EMP, but in theory, it should protect it from an EMP or coronal mass ejection. Two-step verification, sort of. Yeah, it's mostly I don't want anybody to steal anybody else's prize. That's all. You don't have to send selfies. I don't want a picture of your IDs. It's really just like so I can get your address of where I'm sending this to, and so I can verify that the winner is who they are. Exactly. And if you go blind from playing with the Faraday bags, I'm not responsible for that. Moderating is a job. We're pretty lucky here, right? Like you guys come and you don't usually have to kick anybody out or anything like that. You just kind of help me control the flow of the conversation. But I appreciate that a lot. That actually, so that I can cover other stuff while you guys are doing that, and sometimes throw out links and stuff like that. I really do. It helps me a lot. Stephanie Lake, it's good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Hey man, OG, I hope you win. I hope you win. Has my lifetime ban been lifted? Dove Season, you've never been even in a timeout, my friend. You've not done anything to warrant anything like that. Rob, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Yeah, you'd need something bigger for that. They check their website. They might have stuff like that. I don't have anything that big that I'm wanting to protect. I guess my solar. Maybe it's not a bad idea to be thinking about that for my big solar power bank, solar power station. Okay, cool. Welcome in a long time. Cool. All right, let me mark where I left off. Let's talk about these robots. Okay, so adding to the stage. This is, hello, my friends. This is let me pull up my notes. Bear with me here. Okay. This is the Phantom MK1 robot. It's developed by US robotics company called Foundation. Let's see. I'm curious if they're publicly tradable. I don't think they are. Okay. No, it is not publicly tradable yet. It does not have a symbol on the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to talk all about this. So I'm going to try to go fast here because I got a lot of material to cover. This is the first that I know of walking humanoid robot being deployed in a combat scenario. How it's being used for now is it's going to be unarmed and sent in to scout in the Ukraine-Russia conflict by Ukraine. It is made by a U.S. company called Foundation. It is about 5'9", 175 pounds. It's designed to operate in human environments, can carry a payload up to 44 pounds, uses a combination of AI and teleoperation, kind of like a human controlling a robotic body. So not completely autonomous. They can do that, just so we're clear. They absolutely can do that. That's not how it's being used for now. It's been tested for defense and military roles. Most robotics companies in the United States are trying to not get involved with the weaponization of their platforms, but Foundation is openly pursuing military applications. This is your first version of your Terminator, folks. They even worked with a U.S. defense contract. I asked about capabilities, and this is all, none of this is confidential information. I was very clear to not look for stuff that was going to get us in trouble. All right, it is primary mode of operation is a human operator using VR controls. So you have a quote unquote pilot in a VR system that's operating it, but the robot is far away from the operator. It has AI assisted limited autonomy. It can stabilize itself. It can help with some task completion, but it is not fully autonomous for now. It's bipedal, humanoid, can walk. It can run at a moderate speed. It can climb stairs. It can traverse uneven terrain. It is designed to go up ladders. That's pretty interesting. It can manipulate tools. Gee, what kind of tools might it be used for in the future? If it's anywhere a human already works, so you can put it into a vehicle and send it to where it needs to go. You could probably drop this from a parachute. Let's see, has very dexterous hands for gripping tools, carrying objects, and basic manipulation. Tool operation, equipment transport, warehouse handling. Does not have superhuman strength for now. Possibly, I just want to make sure I'm reading something that's already been publicly discussed. Hang on. Possible LiDAR implementation. They've hinted around on that in public forums. Potential for thermal and low light. Again, they've hinted at it. It is not confirmed. It can do object recognition, navigating map style, environmental awareness. So basically scouting areas. Battery powered. The specifics have not been declassified. Suspected of having up to a 4-hour operational window. Can pick up and move objects, open doors, use basic tools, follow operator-controlled workflows, function in hazardous environments where you wouldn't want a human. How about a chemical spill? You could send this thing in and it ain't going to bother it. Ain't going to be bothered by tear gas. Ain't going to be bothered by mustard gas. It ain't going to be bothered by pepper spray. Ain't going to be bothered by a flashbang if the flashbang's not like right on top of it. Designed for recon, logistics support, dangerous task execution, possibly like moving a bomb or I don't know if it can dismantle a bomb or not. Not disclosed. It's not declassified. I would say I would say in theory, yes, it could do that, especially if you've got a human drone pilot operating. In theory, it should be able to do that. Let's see, not self-aware, not fully autonomous. It's not replacing infantry for now. Very similar to what we think Tesla Optimus might end up being, or the Boston Dynamics Atlas, if you've ever seen videos of those. Scrolling down, we've kind of talked about all that stuff. This might be if you suspected mines in an area, you might send this in instead of a human or a dog. You maybe send this in instead. What it does not do, no autonomous mission planning, no autonomous combat decisions for now. There's speculation that in the future more and more AI will be implemented, and in the I can't even say far future, at some time in the future, minimal human imports, higher degrees of autonomy. What else are they working on? And Foundation is they're building numerous different types of robots. We know what's been declassified or what's been public knowledge is the MK1, the MK2, which is going to be bigger battery, waterproofing. Oh, cool. They'll be able to like function like Navy SEALs. That's awesome. Higher payload. They think it's going to be able to lift up to 175 pounds, the MK2. How many have they made? Not clear. They seem to be able to make one per day. The goal is to have 10,000 of these things made in 2026 and quadrupling that capacity in 2027. Some of the stuff's getting a little technical. I don't think we need to go over all that right now. This kind of thing's probably going to be used a lot in like assembly line work in factories too. I would say that's coming real fast, guys. Remember, we've been talking as a major talking point for this channel for 2026 is AI displacement of human jobs. This is going to do it. Not just this, but the Tesla Optimus, the Boston Dynamics Atlas. There's others. They're going to replace a lot of jobs. Right now, white collar jobs, desk jobs, like what I typically do, easily replaceable. That's already happening. Blue collar jobs, mechanics, things like that. That's a little further down the road, but that's eventually going to be an issue too. Factory assembly, things like that, where it's like taking a piece, putting it together, that kind of stuff. That's coming soon, but the robotics are more expensive for implementing than just like AI. They can create a computer. They can create programs right now that can do therapy. The only advantage I have over an AI therapist is that most people, at least for now, still want that human-to-human interaction. But pretty much everything that I can do in therapy, an AI can do. It can't be a human. Okay. And I know people in my field don't like me saying that. I've tested some of this stuff out, guys, and it still makes mistakes. And when a machine makes a mistake in mental health, it's usually catastrophic. We're talking somebody's probably going to make a bad decision and harm themselves. That's a big problem. But over time, those mistakes are going to be less and less. If you think about if you were an early adopter like I was with some AI systems, the difference between what you've got now versus what you had a year ago is night and day. Every week when on the using AI systems for different things that I'm testing out and playing with and trying to learn about, it's better than it was the week before. It's improving at a learning rate much faster than humans learn. Okay, so that's concerning. This is why I'm covering this, guys. We're preppers. We need to know what's coming for the future, and you need to take do what you need to do to prepare for your family. That means emergency savings. That means building up your food supply. That means building a diverse skill set. I would encourage you to don't be, let me think about this carefully. I want to be respectful of how people feel about this. I think people who take the time to learn about AI and how to operate within it buy themselves a little bit more time. Okay. It's still a problem, but if you know how to use with these tools and know how to make yourself advantageous to whoever you're working for with these tools, you're probably buying yourself a little bit more time. Um, but I know some people are like dead set against AI, and I get it. So you make whatever ethical choice makes sense for you. I'm not saying that that's the only way to prepare. Let's see, defense programs, yeah, long-term vision. They want, oh, these will probably be used if we do send ships to Mars again, which we probably will eventually, and the moon. There will probably be things like this to do a lot of the work. I think I looked up the cost on these. That's the last thing I want to go over here. So currently, it costs between $100,000 and $150,000 per robot to make one of these things. They will, as with all tech has a cost reducing curve. So over time, when the first computers came out, they were not affordable to the average household. Now you can go get a laptop, a decent laptop, for what, I don't know, 500. It's been a few years since I've had to buy one, but you can buy a decent laptop for 500. But the first desktop computers were thousands and thousands of dollars when they came out, and the capabilities. So that's the thing. There's the cost reduction and the capabilities increase. This happens with all technology. Cost goes down, capabilities increase. We've seen this over and over again. So the cost of these robots is going to probably go down. It's going to be cheaper for them to build. It's going to be quicker for them to build. They've already said that their aim is for 40,000 units next year. So then, all right, so let's say they get this cost down to under 100,000. Okay. How much is a factory paying an employee to do 40 hours per week? Okay. Let's say a factory worker is making, let's go on the low end of this. A factory worker, if there's any factories left in the United States, because we outsourced them all stupidly. But let's say that somebody who's working in the United States, $40,000 a year plus benefits. We'll say that's low end. Okay. Then, so you add in those benefits, that's at least another 10,000. So let's say $50,000 a year. Okay. So for 2 employees, that's going to cost you $100,000. So that covers 2 shifts. This robot, assuming it can do all these things, is going to be able to work 24/7. So it's immediately going to do the work of 3 employees for the cost of 2. If you don't think companies are going to go for this, you're delulu. This is huge cost savings. And they're going to look at it as these robots don't take lunch breaks. They don't complain. They don't ask for a raise. They don't need a day off. They don't get sick. This is a no-brainer from a capitalist corporate executive's standpoint, right? For them, this is a no-brainer. There is zero chance that this is not going to happen. Okay. So real talk, guys, this will replace jobs on the factory floor. Let me get out of what I'm looking at here. All right, let me get rid of that little robot. This will replace humans not only on the factory floor. This will eventually, maybe not that model, might be a different company, will eventually replace a lot of soldiers on the battlefield too. And maybe that's a good thing for less casualties, but in general, human displacement, humans losing jobs, in my opinion, is one of the biggest concerns right now. This is why I'm going to continue talking about it in 2025. I hope you're interested in it, because this is where we're going, folks. We're going to do our best to prepare. I'm going to talk about this and help you as much as I can. I'm in this with you. My job is very easily replaced right now, and it's scary. So we're taking our preparation seriously too, folks. All right, folks, let me check your chat one more time. We're going to call it a night. I didn't have a poll tonight. Of course, I appreciate you all and hanging out with me and giving us a little bit of your Friday. Oh, there's Prepper Dash Co. We have larger Faraday cages, not posted yet. If interested, email us. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming by the chat. Appreciate you. Yeah, welcome. We can carry 44 pounds. Watch the army give it 120 loads. You can guarantee it, Wayne. You can guarantee it. Yes, let's build the Cylons. What a great idea, right? Hey, Kentucky, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. I look forward to Kurt review on this. Hey, Foundation, if you guys are watching this and you want to be interviewed about your MK1, whatever the heck it is, I'll have you on. I'll treat you fairly. I'll ask my audience to be respectful. If anybody's watching this, I will absolutely give you a chance to talk about this. I'm interested. I actually don't hate AI. I hate AI job displacement, but I will promise you that any AI company that wants to come on here and talk about their stuff, I will not be disrespectful. You'll be treated fair, and we'll give you a chance to talk about your product, because I want my audience to be aware of what's going on in the world. I know a couple people that have worked in this industry, not that company, that have left AI for concerning reasons, and they don't want to come on. They'll talk to me in private. They'll tell me about stuff that they saw, and I've told you guys about stuff that I could share, but they don't want to come on. They don't want to have their faces shown, and I get it. Some stuff that's out there is like also government top secret stuff. Like when you talk about Anthropic and OpenAI and Google's what's the name of their AI system? Is it Gemini? The stuff they're doing in the lab is top secret. It's top secret. Like there's less than 500 people in the country that have access to those systems. No, I don't know anybody that has access to that level. Hey man, we need those Iron Man power suits. That'd be cool. I would bet on these things, honestly, versus the B1 battle droids. Hey, I try to keep it fun for you guys. We talk about serious subjects, but I try to keep it fun. Yes, amen. You guys want me to put that on a t-shirt? Robotic wow, that's coming. That's already happening. OG. That's already happening. And the next generation that grows up, because a lot of Gen Z is so sick of the dating scene. They say it's toxic. They say it's too much work. The next generation that comes through is going to, many of them are going to opt for robotic girlfriends and boyfriends. It's already happening on a small scale. It's going to be way more widespread in 10 years. It's yeah, Wayne. I now pay for OpenAI's ChatGPT Plus. I took the plunge and paid for it, and it's really helpful. It's so I have mixed feelings on all this, right? Like it is really helpful. It's getting smarter every day. I have really deep intellectual conversations with it. It challenges me. I've learned things from it, and the mistakes. It does still make some mistakes, but they're less and less every day. And each time so when I catch a mistake, I'm like, hey, that's not true. And it'll like do this little thing where it's thinking, it'll be like, hey, you know what, you're right. Thank you for pointing that out to me. It's like, shoot, I inevitably just made I accidentally just made these things smarter. So, but here's the other thing: rudimentary AI guy has been around for a long time. If you use Spotify, if you ever searched on Amazon, if you searched on YouTube, if you searched on Google, you helped to build these things too. Those were the earliest systems, and the stuff that's evolved out of that kind of has a base in that. Like that's the baby that brought about with the current stage that we're in. Spotify was like one of the first ones, really. Yes, no more. No, yes, robots mean no more sexual harassment lawsuits. Let's see. Alicia, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. All right. Just seeing if I missed anybody. Cool. You guys want the for now t-shirt? Let me think about it. I never did the road pizza one that you guys asked me to do either. I never did the road pizza t-shirt. Let me think about it. I'll consider it. You guys always give me such good ideas here. I love it. All right, cool. Let's call it a night, guys. I appreciate you so much. Listen, quick message for tonight to end with. We prep so we're not scared, right? Like, so we as preppers, we get ahead of these problems. We get ahead of the curve that's coming. This curve is coming. In some respects, it's already here. There are people who are burying their head in the sands. They don't want to talk about this. I know personal people in my life that do not want to have this conversation because they're so either upset about it or afraid of it, and they're just like burying their head in the sand. That is not the right approach. As preppers, guys, do what you can for yourself, for your family, for your friends around you, and try to educate people. Let them know this is on our doorstep, guys. This, in my opinion, is a bigger threat than Iran. Okay. To humans and to our well-being. And I don't mean Terminators, honestly, like they're coming to hunt down humans. We've talked about that before. I'm not that worried about that. I'm worried about the job displacement thing because that is already here. It's already happening. Okay. So you guys enjoy your great weekend. Have fun with your family. Thank you so much again for hanging out with us. Thank you so much to the mods for helping out every week. And thank you to the chat for some great conversations and for making me laugh. I appreciate you guys so much. Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.